Hey guys, Steve Glover from Paragon Homes here, and it has been a pretty busy last couple of days since we've had last week the announcement around the $25,000 home builder grant. We've had plenty of conversations, talked to many people coming through the display home and looking to take advantage of the grant, especially first home buyers. The opportunity is out there with the $40,000 to be able to really get yourself a head start and a kick along into your own home. And I just wanted to go through today, through the conversations we've been having. A lot of people are very eager, they want to jump in, but just because that money's there to be utilised within the construction of your home and finding a block, we still need to go through the process of being able to identify a suitable block for you. And make sure that's not going to be a burden on you financially. There's so many things you need to have a look at and look into and to identify prior to purchasing this block, and to really sit back and have an overview of what you want to achieve at the end of this process that you go through of building a home. So in terms of where you want to live, the style of home you want to have, make sure it ticks all those boxes. But another important facet of going through this process is identifying value for money and where you want to live, and this results in being able to put your package together, and at the end of the day you want to be able to create a home that isn't going to be a financial burden on you. You want it to be able to be a positive asset when it comes to selling the home down the track, whether it's 3, 5, 10 years down the track. You want it to be an asset towards you financially. And this, what I want to go through is a case study around what we look at in terms of where our clients live, and if it is going to be financially viable for them into the future. And this process is exactly what I use personally for all the blocks that we select as house and land packages, to make sure we run the numbers work, and it's something we're comfortable with, and that there is going to be value at the end of the day. One, if it comes to an investment and you're looking to sell it, but two, if you're completed the home, you're going to have that equity into the home, that security, that financial security around it. And this overview case study is a little bit about what we look into, and some blocks that are available at the moment that you can do. I want to run you through the figures and just show you some things you need to consider prior to committing to that, because it is a great kick along the $40,000, but at the end of the day, it's no point taking the $40,000, making a few mistakes in selections of block and the type of construction you do, and this being a financial burden on you, even with that $40,000 at the end of the day. So I'll run you through here. We've got 3 blocks around town. 2 are in similar areas. One's in different areas. I won't tell you where they are or what blocks they are, but I'm more than happy to sit down with you if you've got your eyes on a couple of blocks and go through this process so you can make an informed decision as well. So we'll go with block 1. And for all of these, we've worked on a typical 230 square metre construction, 4-bed, 2 bath, around about that $1,100 a square metre build cost, and we've used that uniform across there, and that'll just allow us to compare at the end of the day. So we'll run through block 1. So block 1, it's $140,000 E-type soil. So we've got our build cost, our foundation and site costs. So our extra to build on that E-type soil, you're looking around about $13,800, which will go into the ground. So money that you have to spend, you don't actually get any value out of. Another thing we need to consider is our fencing. All of these blocks are fairly flat, so we haven't allowed any retaining. That's another thing you need to do to allow for is your site works. If you do have a lot of slope and you're retaining, that'll go into this, into the calculator. But for the purposes of this study, we're just going to run with these flat blocks. So we've basically just got our boundary fencing to allow for our return fences. So we're about 600, 650 square metres. These blocks are going to look around about $8,800 in fencing, and obviously that gets shared when it comes to, there's more details that go into it, but as a full cost to fence that block, that's going to be about $8,800. Turf and landscaping, another thing you want to do to be able to complete your home, you're about $7,000. So block 1, we're looking at a total of $282,600. Adding the land cost is $140,000, so we've got a total of $422,600. This is where I like to basically identify the areas and look at how values have gone there, completed values, sales, all those sort of things. And we talk to the experts, talk to the real estate agents, make sure we're getting data that is, it is totally confirmed by what's happening there. It's not we're pie in the sky, we're making up figures just to make this look good. We want to make sure we're working with real data, real figures, so we can give you an accurate information around what you want to do moving forward. So basically, in block 1, block 2, our typical completed value of these homes are going to be around that 400 to 420,000 if you were looking to sell that property. So basically, once we add up our costs, we're at 422 for this first block. Value between 400 and 420. What that leaves us with is an equity deficit. So if we sell this house for 400, we're basically 22,600 overspent or overcapitalised. You hear that term when you have overcapitalised on a property, you've spent more than it's worth. So we're there, and then possibly sell it for the 420,000 mark, and you're minus about $2,500 there, so 2,600. So what we does here, and by utilising these grants, so you put that 40,000 in it, it does turn you round to a positive. So you're looking at probably around between 20 and 40 grand. You could have equity into that after utilising that $40,000 from the government. So that's block 1, E-type soil, 140k purchase price. Block 2, similar block, same block, better soil type, H2, 160,000 for the block, same price, 253 build, 3 grand for the soil type above and beyond the M soils there. So 8,800 to do the fencing once again. And all these costs, no matter where you build this home, it's going to be the same. Whether you're building it in Middle Ridge, whether you're building it out in Highfields, if you're building it out in the Glenvale area, Carney Springs, no matter what happens, what you do, if you build that same size house, same specification, it's going to cost you exactly the same. So that's really important why you need to identify these blocks of land and where it is, as opposed to what's going to be value-wise at the end of the day. So this particular package, we're going to have 271,800 there, 160k for the block, so total spends around that 431,800. So looking at that same area, so your value at the end of the day is going to be the same. You're around about that 400 to 420,000. That's going to leave you with a deficit. A little bit more. You would sometimes think that maybe having the better soil won't cost you as much, but this particular you're about 10 grand extra, 10 grand less in the cost, but you're 20,000 less in the block cost. It's cost you from the outset. So total package is 271,800 plus the 160. So we spent 431,800 here. Value between 480. So we're left with a deficit at around 31,800 to 11,800. Of course, we throw the 40,000 onto that. That's going to put you back into the positive. So you're going to be looking at having a bit of equity into that home around about that 9.5 grand, or 8 or 9 grand, up to about 29, 30 grand in this particular package, looking at that scenario. So again, you're going to have some positive equity into that after accounting for the grant. So then we look over to this block 3. So different area from block 1 and 2. We're looking at 210,000 bucks for the block. It's pretty similar size, H1 soil type. So we've got the same build price, 253,000 on the soil type there. Haven't got any extras in the foundations because of the soil type. 8,800, same amount of fencing that we require in the other blocks. 7,000 bucks for your turf and landscaping. Brings us to a total package spend of 268,000 for the build. Add in our 210,000 land costs, so we're looking around 478,000 for your land, to buy your land, build your home on this one. So this area though, it is a different area. The values, the resale values, they're all there. Typically this sort of home will go between about $500,000 and $520,000. So in this instance, we've spent 478, values between 500 and 520,000. That's actually given us a positive equity even before we've taken into account these grants. So we've got 22,000 to about 42,000. So between 20 and 40 grand you've made in the development of this property by purchasing the block, doing the build. Then you add on to that the 40 grand, so the 15 first home owners grant, the $25,000 home builder grant. You can have equity into that home as soon as you've moved in, anywhere from around that 60 grand to the 80 grand on money that you've had to input and spend. So that's outstanding. That's a great push along. The amount of time it would take you to save that $60,000, $80,000 would be years and years if you ever got to it anyway. So by sitting down and identifying an area to purchase your block, you can put yourselves in these situations financially. And the finance isn't be all and end all of it. There's so much more we need to look into, and obviously you've got to have that higher budget. You're going to spend more money. You've got to have the borrowing capacity. You've got to have the capacity, and also the comfortability. I don't know if that's a word, but we'll run with it. Around the repayments around that higher, because you are going to have more debt on it as opposed to these. So it all comes down. There's lots of things to identify, but that's an overview of really what we delve into as one part of making sure we're finding the best block available for our clients. So these are very round figures. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I just absolutely love property. I love finding blocks. I love to work in. We do work in closely with mortgage brokers directly. They look after all the finance side of things. They are licensed. And they're able to give you that information on that side of things, and we'll put together this package around your land, your build and everything, and then make sure we account for anything. Give you the information, you can make yourselves an educated decision moving forward. But I am excited to say we are going to be at, because there has been plenty of interest around this first home buyers grant coming up over the last week. So this weekend from 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock, I'm going to have our mortgage broker Andrew from Rams is going to pop over. It's our display on 516 Hume Street. I'm going to be here on site as well to talk all things building, and basically we want to just try and assist as many people who are thinking about if it is for them, if it's an opportunity you can take advantage of. You can come and have a chat to us. If you've got your eyes on a couple of blocks or looking around, happy to sit down and personalise all this information for you. Basically, you can make a decision then based around facts and figures, and not sort of crossing your fingers and hoping at the end of the day that it's going to be a good decision. We want to make sure you've got certainty around where you're heading with your home and your investment. Even if it is, and it has to be your principal place of residence, it still is an investment and asset that works for you at the end of the day. So if you want to pop in Saturday morning between 9 and 12 over here at 516 Hume Street, I'd love to talk to you. If that time frame doesn't work for you, more than happy to give me a buzz. We'll book in the time, sit down with you and have a chat, find out really what you're looking to do, and hopefully give you some information to point you in the right direction to get the best results. So that's it for me today. It's been a bit long-winded, but hopefully it's been some valuable information. If you have got something out of it, love to hear your thoughts below. Tag anybody who may be interested in hearing this sort of stuff below, and we look forward to talking to you very, very shortly once again, and enjoy your afternoon. Cheers.